mean, mode, median, range, mean deviation and standard deviation. These are summary values, commonly used summary values for quantitative data. In a previous lecture, we have already discussed the two types of data, that is quantitative data and qualitative data. So these values are for quantitative data. Now an example is given. Data is collected regarding number of children in each household in a given population. The results are given below. Number of households is 50 and number of children in his household is denoted by the figures given below. These are 50 figures. Each means number of children in one household. So if this data is given to, let's say, you, it doesn't make much sense, it baffles you. Let us suppose the number of household is not 50, it is 5,000. So we have 5,000 such figures. They wouldn't convey much meaning unless these are summarized into summary values. And the summary values which are used mostly are mean and standard deviation. These are the most commonly used summary values, but a list of commonly used summary values are mean, mode, median, range, mean deviation and standard deviation. I once again say that mean and standard deviation are the most commonly used summary value of quantitative data. Average implies a value around which the other values are distributed in the given set of quantitative data. So it is the central tendency of the given set of quantitative data. So there are various types of averages. The commonly used ones are the mean, median and mode. I once again say that mean is the most commonly used average, but there may be some given conditions where the mean may not be the appropriate average to be used, and there median or mode may be more appropriate for using. Measures of dispersion. We have already discussed about the value of central tendency, and we also know that the values in the given set of quantitative data are distributed around this central tendency, but they differ from the central tendency by varying degrees, and this difference or variation is called dispersion or variation. Once we know the value of the central tendency, we also need to know how much the other values differ from it. Why do we need to know that? We will discuss in the following lecture, especially in context to the test of significance. But right now it suffices that in addition to the value of central tendency, we also need to know the measure of how much is the variation of other values from the central tendency. And these measures of the variation are called measures of dispersion or measures of variation. The most widely used measures of dispersion are the range, the mean deviation or the average deviation, and the standard deviation. The standard deviation is the most commonly used measure of dispersion. Mean or the arithmetic mean is the most widely used average, and it is simply adding up all the individual observations and then dividing the sum by the number of observations. Simple. It is denoted by x bar. Advantages of mean is that it is easy to calculate and gives a fair idea of the central tendency in most of the situations. Disadvantages: in some situations where there are extreme values in the distribution, the mean may be disproportionately influenced. We shall see this in the next few slides. So a few values which are extremely high or extremely low compared to the rest of the values, this will result in a mean which is actually not representative of the data. Calculation of the mean for ungrouped data. Ungrouped data means the type of data that we discussed initially, that is number of values each from each subject of the given sample, and let x denote each of the value. N is the total number of values. Then the mean is calculated as by simply adding up all the values sigma x divided by number of measurements, that is n. An example is the same example we discussed in the first few slides. Total number of households were 50 and the number of children in each household was as below. So adding up all the observations is 133. Total number of observations is 50. Hence mean is sum of all the observations, that is 133, divided by total number of observations, that is 50, 2.66. So the mean number of children in each household is 2.66. What we discussed in the previous slide was number of values given, we simply added together and divided by the number of values. Now these values may not be presented as showed before. They may be arranged in a simple frequency table, which means the data may be arranged listing the frequency of occurrence of identical measurements like this. In this case, the frequencies may be multiplied by the corresponding value and we arrive at the sum. Example, in the given right side table, we multiply the frequency with the value and add the results together to arrive at total sum, divide by the number of values, that is 50, and we can see that mean is 2.66. Frequency distribution in class intervals. Frequently the quantitative data is given as a table with class intervals and the frequency beside each class interval. That is, a frequency table may be simplified by grouping the observations into class intervals like this one. These are the class intervals on the left side and frequency on the right side. In this case, if you want to calculate the mean, an assumption is made that all the values within each class interval are equal to the midpoint of that particular interval. Like this. The midpoint of first class interval is 1 and that of last class interval, that is 14 to 16, is 15. Hence, the sum of the entire distribution is determined by adding up the products obtained by multiplying the frequencies in each class by midpoint of that class interval. And that comes out to be 127. The mean is then calculated by the usual method, that is the sum of the products of frequency and midpoint of each class interval, which is 127 in this case, divided by n, which is 50, and the mean is 2.54. We can see that it is not 2.66, so it is not that exact because an assumption has been made here. Median. To obtain the median in a quantitative data, the data has to be first arranged either in an ascending order or in a descending order of magnitude. And then the middle observations value is called the median. If there is an even number of values, then the median is calculated by taking the average of the two middle values. Example, number of children per household of 7 families. Mean in this case would be total, add up the values, divide by total number of values, 4.8. We can see that 4.8 as a mean is not representative of this data. The maximum number of people have either 2 or 3 children. But the mean is 4.8, which is not actually the way it is. It is not representative. In this case, we will obtain the median and we will arrange the data in ascending order like this. The middle value is 3 and the median is hence 3. If there were 8 values, 8 households, then they will be again arranged in an ascending order, and the middle two values are 3 and 3. The average of these two values is again 3, and the median is 3, which we can see is representative of the households. One household has 15 children, but that is just one household. So 3 is more representative of this data than the mean of 4.8. As we can see, that median is the more appropriate average when there are a few extreme values in the data. Mode is the most commonly occurring value in the data distribution of the given sample. Mode is therefore not affected by extreme values like median, but then the exact location in the distribution is often uncertain. Like in median, it is known that median lies in the middle. 50% of values would be lower than this, and 50% of values will be higher than this. But there is no such location known in case of mode. Hence, mode has very limited use. Though it has, but very limited use. An example, number of children in each household. This is the first example that we considered. The most often repeated value is 2. Hence, the mode is 2. Range. Range is the simplest measure of dispersion, but it is not much of practical value. Range, this should not be confused with the normal range of a quantitative variable. It's something totally different and would be explained along with normal distribution. Range is defined as the difference between the highest and the lowest value, that is the highest value minus the lowest value. If we have grouped data, that is if we have class intervals, the range is the difference between the midpoints of the extreme categories, that is midpoint of the last category minus midpoint of the first category. In our example of number of children per household, the range is 15, which was the highest value, minus 0, which was the lowest value. The range is 15. This doesn't explain too much. In fact, the statement that the number of children ranged from 0 to 15 is more meaningful. The mean deviation. It is the average or mean of all the deviations from the arithmetic mean. It is calculated by taking the average of the absolute values of deviations of individual measurements from the mean. That is the difference from the mean, whether the value is higher than the mean or lower than the mean. The distance from the mean is, the distances from the mean are added up and then the average is taken. It is given by the formula mean deviation is sum of all the deviations irrespective of the sign divided by the number of values. This sign indicates the deviation of individual measurements from the arithmetic mean without the sign, because the variation can be on the either side. Each of the value can either be lesser than the mean or higher than the mean. Systolic BP, for an example, systolic BP of 9 persons are given below. We want to calculate the mean deviation for this. First, calculate the mean, which is sum of all the values divided by 9, 88.2. Then we calculate the sum of all. First, we calculate the deviations of each value from the mean as shown in the table. And then all the deviations without the sign are added up. The sum of these deviations is divided by the number of values, that is 9. So mean deviation is 53.8 divided by 9, 5.98. The standard deviation. This is the most frequently used measure of deviation. It is also defined as root mean squared deviation. It is given by the formula. Standard deviation, also shown as a sigma, and root of sum of all the squared deviations divided by the number of values. Now, how is it done? In the previous example of systolic BPs, calculate the deviations from the mean as explained before, and then square each deviation. Then sum up these squared deviation. Obviously the squared deviations will all be positive. There will be no negative in this. Sum up all the square deviation and divide the sum by number of observations. The result is then subjected to square root. Take square root of the result which is 8.1. Hence 8.1 is the standard deviation for the given sample. Coefficient of variation. This was not listed in the initial slides. At undergraduate level, you need to just understand the concept of coefficient of variation. Coefficient of variation is used to compare the variability of a quantitative variable in two or more different groups, or it can be used to compare the variability of two different quantitative variables in the same group. For example, pulse rate, whether it varies more in adolescents or in elderly. Weight of livers is more variable or that of spleen. It is calculated by the formula coefficient of variation is equal to the standard deviation divided by mean into 100. That is, what percentage of mean is the standard deviation in the given sample. If the percentage of standard deviation, the percentage is high, that means the variability is higher. The variation is higher. And if the percentage of mean is low, that means variability is low. Let's revise. Measures of central tendency are mean, mode and median that we have studied. Measures of variation or dispersion are range, mean deviation, standard deviation and coefficient of variation. Coefficient of variation, if it is high, that means the sample values are highly variable, and if the coefficient of variation is low, it means the sample is more or less homogeneous. The most important measure of central tendency we have learned is the mean, and the most important measure of variation is standard deviation.